Welcome into this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning, trying out the live video thing again. Whoa, what's that? Getting a little feedback in my own headset. That's not good. I'm talking to myself. You hear that, Neal?
Yeah, I hear it. Not sure what that is.
I fixed it. All good.
How about that?
Little kink here on Monday morning. It's all good. But we back with you again. We're going to talk Ole Miss, Missouri. The Missouri Tigers 38-27 over Ole Miss on Saturday night from Columbia. We'll rehash that a little bit and more on this podcast. Again, we have a video option just for a little bit of heads up for everybody here. You're still going to get it everywhere else that you expected. I know we're going to get that question a lot. Hey, if you're online, am I still going to get it on all the audio purposes? Yeah, look, it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be where you expected. So no deal there at all. That recorder is a little hotter than I'd like for it to be. It's fine. It's okay. I'm just looking at it. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Appreciate everybody on Saturday night. Had a great time. You know it's a really good. Let's do this first. Let's tell you about the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. You know that through Halloween, you're getting the chance to win free gas for a year, the sweepstakes there with the Oxford Exxon. All you got to do, you got to sign up for the Mobile Rewards Plus card. Hopefully you have that already. I've been telling you about it forever. Fill up with at least 8 gallons of gas, and if so, you're automatically entered any Blue Sky location in Mississippi, including the Oxford Exxon, free gas for a year. And again, we're in the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call the number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you are looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There is no hassle. There is no haggle. You just get a great quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. That's certainly your prerogative. Or you can do what I've done and what I've done 3 times now, what I'll probably do the very next time as well, which is get into a Clark Ford. You'll love the product. You'll love the service after the sale. Corey and the people there at Clark Ford take great care of you. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. He will prove that to you. 662-257-1900.
So as I was saying, appreciate everybody on Saturday night. You know that it's been a pretty good show when the guy calls in. He's had shots in his apartment, takes us through the entire process, and that's not the call everybody was talking to at the end of the day. So appreciate everybody taking part in that on Saturday. We're trying to figure out exactly where all we're using this. We have some ideas, not quite ready to announce that yet, but we do have some thoughts. I think we know where we're going with it. Neal, and never mind. I should have looked at something before we started, but it's okay.
But the wall.
Yeah, you're showing a lot of wall.
I'm getting everybody telling me that. My wife just told me that. I don't know what else to do.
You'd have to move left. And at this point, we're already going, and I'm a little worried about options and things and different things. I'll just be honest. So
I'll move left a little, and we'll go from there. I have not moved it from Saturday night, so
it moved.
Cameras can be persnickety.
Well, it's on your computer, so it's probably more your computer has moved.
No, but the computer didn't move. Computer stayed in the exact same spot.
Well, the camera's attached to the computer.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll play with it. It's no big deal.
You will?
Yep.
All right. So, anyway, we get to today's show. Again, Ole Miss, Missouri. We'll hear from Matt Luke. We'll hear from Rich Rodriguez, Mike McIntyre later today. Frankly, there's not a lot to say because it's a situation where they're probably going to continue to play both quarterbacks. I know as evidence on Saturday night, quarterbacks continue to be the thing. It's just the topic that everybody's talking about. For the most part, everybody's pretty healthy. They've got these ejections from Saturday that's going to leave a mark on Saturday against Texas A&M. Already some groups that, frankly, a little thin without Jacquez Jones, without Tisdale, who has played in times a decent amount. And Tisdale's the one where you still just shake your head. Everybody said, hey, it was a bad look for Matt Luke. He went down to a knee right after that on Saturday night. I understand his frustration. While, yes, he should not have gone to a knee, that was a tough moment for him where, you've got him right there on the goal line. You can get the ball back. You can potentially have a shot to really get back in the game at that point. And instead, gave him a lifeline to, frankly, put the game away.
Oh, no doubt. They were about to have a shot. They were about to have a shot at a dramatic fourth quarter, and it was a remarkably stupid play. Not calling the kid stupid, but it was a remarkably stupid play. You can argue about the Jacquez Jones hit and the legality of it and the letter of the law and all that stuff. You can have that argument, and I'm willing to engage. But the Tisdale thing, there's no argument. It's an easy call. It took about 6 seconds for them to verify it.
That was the fastest verification I've maybe ever seen from a targeting standpoint.
There's nothing to argue.
Yeah.
He led with the crown. There's a USA Today photo that I put in 10 Weekend Thoughts. He led with the crown of his hat, and he hit him right in the face. I mean, they tell you throughout, so this isn't even behind the scenes. Everyone does this. They bring in officials all the time for every practice. And then for scrimmages, they'll bring in SEC crews because the officials want to get work too. And they'll have the officials talk to the players, and they talk a lot about targeting. A lot. And it's one of those, it's something they are going to officiate their way out of football. And they're doing actually a pretty good job of, you see less and less of it now. Guys are beginning to learn that, hey, I can't hit that high. And on a hit like that, that's just stupid. Just dumb. And it's about to be 3rd and long, Missouri at their own 3. They're probably going to go conservative right there because the last thing you want is a pick or something. And
yeah, they were in basically the iPhone. They were handing the ball off to Roundtree. That's what they were about to do.
Yeah, they were going to get rid of it. They were going to punt it and then go from there. Ole Miss was going to have a chance to score. Even a field goal right there would have made it a 1-score game. They were going to have a chance to score and make the thing interesting. And when that happened, that was night.
Otherwise today, not much. They've got to play a game, and at some point, I saw this on the board yesterday, and look, I do think Ole Miss is getting better. There's no doubt. They're improving. You called them an average team yesterday,
yeah.
And that was something that the semantics of that have been a little confusing for some people.
I'm not talking about win-loss record.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the product on the field is average. It's average.
Does it mean bad?
No, they're not bad. They're not good. They're for SEC standards, they're average. And people come back and they say, well, they lost to Memphis. Yeah, at this point, we're no longer talking about the same thing. When you say, well, they lost to Memphis, they lost to Cal. Who else did they lose to? They lost to Memphis and Cal and
Alabama and Missouri.
They've lost to a team that got screwed in Philadelphia the other day from being still in the top 25. Mm-hmm. They've lost to a Missouri team that's now 5-1, 6-1. They lost to the number 1 team in the country. And they lost to Cal in a game between 2 teams that, frankly, are pretty average. But when you go back and do Memphis, that was August the 31st. This team's better today than it was on August the 31st. And people go, well, if they played Plumlee didn't get there till summer. I don't know that Plumlee was ready to play August the 31st. And if you do that to Matt Corral, what's the message that you send? Matt Corral did nothing to lose the job in fall camp. I'm not sure he's done anything to lose the job now.
They're going to continue to play both quarterbacks. They are.
In the second quarter Saturday, John Rice Plumlee could do nothing. They were, and even in the third or fourth quarter, I lose track of the game now. There were a couple of plays. The drive where Corral overthrew Elijah Moore by half a yard. He had to come in on a couple of third downs and bail him out because Plumlee can't make throws downfield. There was a 3rd and 8 throw with Plumlee on the field where they ran a 5-yard route. Yeah, he has thrown some nice balls. He did throw a couple of nice balls. He also floats a lot of balls. He's got to get better as a passer for
at driving the football and through lanes. That's the thing.
He's a big play guy. He's obviously explosive with his feet. But there's a lot more to the game than just making big plays. You've got to be able to put some possessions together. He's not as good at that as Corral is. And yes, we have some people asking. Yes, we're still doing a podcast. We're just adding a video element in the mornings.
We believe the recorder is working, so we're good.
The recorder tells me it is working. I am watching it like a hawk.
That's good.
So when I say they're average, they look like an average team. They were not good on defense the other night. All the talk about quarterback play, the thing that stuck out to me more than quarterback play was how porous they were on defense. They didn't tackle well. They didn't defend well. And if you listen to Mike McIntyre's comments afterwards, he refers to the secondary as their Achilles heel.
It has been all season.
That's the thing. You can talk about coaching. It's fine. It's part of it. They make a lot of money. We talk about it. The other teams have coaches too. They watch film also. And when you watch film of Ole Miss, you see the same thing over and over and over. They're susceptible on the back end. Let's go get it. And if you have quarterback plays, what will be interesting this weekend, Kellen Mond wants to be a runner. But the way to beat Ole Miss is not running with your quarterback. The way to beat Ole Miss is throwing with your quarterback. He's going to be able to extend plays in much the same way Kelly Bryant could. And then if he can make some of the throws that Bryant made, it's going to be a long night for Ole Miss. And they start the game short a linebacker, short a defensive lineman.
The linebacker's the one that's the really, really big deal here, in my opinion. I mean, Jacquez Jones, who's already filling in for Momo Sonogo. We're already down that guy as it is. Jones has done a pretty nice job for most of the season. I mean, he's been really, really good. And while, look, you got to play without him either way, the tough break nature of that, because there was nothing for him to do. There was nowhere to go.
No. I think the thing that they're telling players now, I've asked some coaches about this, when the quarterback goes into slide mode, you just have to figure out a way to stop.
But, I mean, you seriously would have to jump 5 feet over him to get away from him.
Yeah.
And this is not Missouri people probably listening when, hey, you're whining. It's not whining. The problem is they allow the quarterbacks to slide so freaking late.
Yeah.
There almost should be some sort of thing on the other side going, hey, look, if you're going to slide. Don't initiate contact and then slide.
Yeah.
Because it just completely puts guys, especially with the targeting rule now, on a slide where it's, hey, you're out. And that it is what it is. That was my main problem with it, was simply it feels like no matter how awkward or how late the quarterback slides, you're still in the same situation.
It is. So the big thing is when you're making that play, when you see him start to slide, whatever you do, you can't go head first. You can't be in a position where you're head first. Drop to your knees. Let him slide into your legs. But you can't go head first. And if you look at this, there's a still photo. I put it in 10 Weekend Thoughts. You can see that there's head-to-head contact, which puts the referee in a really difficult position.
And in full speed, he doesn't get the help of the slow motion.
No,
stuff.
and they get to go review it, and when they review it, it got upheld because you go head-to-head, and there's no way for the replay official to say, "Well, he didn't hit him hard." I don't know. He doesn't know how hard he hit him. It's a tough spot. I feel for Ole Miss and for Jacquez Jones on that play. The other one I don't. And then, frankly, when you give up 500 and almost 70 yards of offense, it's hard to go back and put a game on officials. I mean, I get it. I get why fans are upset about it, and they look at it and say, well, you know, if this call doesn't happen, and if this call doesn't happen, and if this call doesn't happen, I get that. But when you give up 570 yards of offense, it's difficult for me to make that assumption. It means you can't stop them. You can't get them off the field. Now, would the game have been interesting if John Rice Plumlee's second touchdown, the one that got called back,
on Miles Battle's holding call,
on that holding call, would the game have been more? Would it be interesting to go back, change that, and see how the flow of the game changes? Absolutely, because Ole Miss ended up not scoring on that drive, and then Missouri took that turnover and scored. So instead of 14-3 Ole Miss, it's 10 or 9-7 because I guess they missed the extra point. 9-7 Missouri. That's a swing.
That's the problem probably in the film room yesterday is, yeah, look, despite all the things we're talking about, all the secondary stuff, which is a problem, we're going to talk about it more in a second, almost beat themselves. You don't hold, you get ahead, and you get in from the 1-inch line.
Yep.
That's 14 points.
Yep.
And not only just 14 points, but that's 14 more first half points to then put some pressure and change the dynamic of the game a little bit. You know what I mean? It's different than, hey, we're in comeback mode. You're trying to get back. Instead, Missouri's the one having to operate things a little differently. They're having to press it a little bit. You're making them a little one-dimensional. And Ole Miss just couldn't do that for the second or third time this season. A lot of mistakes. And, look, it comes back to a lot of what that 2012 team had to deal with. Even that 2008 team early. It's an Ole Miss team that doesn't really know how to win. They've dealt through a lot of stuff. They've won some games. But there is a certain mentality, too, in addition to just needing some better players in some spots.
Yeah,
they're not making a lot of winning plays, though. Instead, they're kind of making some losing plays in the very critical moments of these games.
Look, there's a lot of ingredients in this gumbo here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. If anything, there are more ingredients than you need to where it's just a convoluted mess a little bit. It's a young team. It's a team that hasn't won in a while. It's a team that has obviously been through a lot of adversity as a program. It's a team that's gone through a lot of change, new coordinators, new all this. New is not always better. A lot of times it is. Change is good. But sometimes you can have too much change. And then on top of all that, young quarterbacks, and you're just painfully slow in the secondary. And I hate doing this because I've always sort of believed that I don't need to criticize college players individually. But me saying that guys are too slow, I don't know that it is particularly critical, other than just pointing out that guys are really slow.
Yeah, they can't help it. They're in the game because of the situation Ole Miss is in. It's very similar because when we used to really grimace when we did it because such a good kid, Taylor Polk, same kind of deal. It's not their fault. They're in the game, but yeah, Ole Miss has to get better there. They have to get more athletic. They have to get more talented. They have to be better for SEC games than they are. That's it.
Polk was the best example. That was one of the knocks on the Freeze era is that they just did not recruit well on the defensive end. Then you look up and Taylor Polk's playing 80 snaps. And he's playing 80 snaps because he's one of your better linebackers.
Yeah, it was Polk and DeMarcus Gates, and that's it.
Hope for the best. At it.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So, look, it's a lot of things. They do. They have to get better. McIntyre's not going to stop. It's 6 games through the season, whatever it is now.
Yep.
He's going to continue to stop the run, load the box, and put those secondary guys out on islands and hope for the best. Because you do the other thing and you start playing coverage and you start allowing things from the other side where they run the ball on you, they're just going to cut you to death. You know what I mean? I mean, it's that deal where you're not going to stop anybody. You're going to lose flow and you're going to lose tempo at that point. So I understand what he's doing. Could you go half and half a little more? Could you drop some more, one more guy a little bit? Sure. But then the problem is when they do that sometimes, they don't get the front 4 push that they need to actually put pressure on the quarterback. Then you're getting coverage receptions. And it's like, well, you're kind of, danged if you do, danged if you don't in some ways.
Got to get more talented players.
Yeah, period. They got dominated on both sides of the line of scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah.
The front 7 did not get enough pressure, and when they got there, they didn't complete, which is really, frankly, that's one of the bigger deals they've had all season. Chase Garbers against Cal Saturday night against Kelly Bryant. They're not completing the tackles for loss. Right. They're letting guys slip out. They're losing containment. It's just stuff.
And it's frankly the part of this, because I've said for a little while I thought this A&M game was really winnable, and it is. But that's the thing that keeps sticking out of my mind that makes me go, I don't know. Is Kellen Mond is a lot like Kelly Bryant, a lot like Chase Garbers. Athletic, not a particularly gifted thrower. Bryant's a better thrower than those guys, but
he's very similar to Chase Garbers, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah, he's a lot like him. And so, pretty athletic. You can extend plays with your feet. They're going to have athletic guys who can get open. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to see it. And then defensively, they're okay. They're okay. A&M's not a lot better than Ole Miss, but they're better than Ole Miss.
They're not taking the step not we all, but that some thought.
No, certainly not yet.
Yeah. Jimbo.
Certainly not yet.
Look, Arkansas almost beat them.
Yeah.
And I get that's a weird series and a neutral site, whatever. Still players on the field. Arkansas almost won the game.
You talk about learning how to win.
Mm-hmm.
They're becoming a really good example. They haven't won in a while, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't won in a while. They played well enough to beat Texas A&M.
They did.
They played well enough to beat Kentucky. Getting over the hump and winning the game is really hard to do. It's like an NBA thing. Young NBA teams will make the playoffs, and then they just can't win a series. And then the next season, a young NBA team gets to the playoffs, and suddenly they win a series, and they're dangerous now.
It's why we thought the Braves in Game 5 was very serious of the day, because they're going to get it next season, and you've got this mental thing again. And there's levels to this. Ole Miss is still in this kind of middle to early level of it. 2012, they get kind of lucky and beat Auburn because Auburn is terrible with Gene Chizik that day. Then they beat Arkansas in the last play, and then they've kind of prepared themselves by that point and learned how to win enough to go into that Egg Bowl where Moncrief goes crazy and all that stuff, and they get that win. And then the next season, while it wasn't some major progression, that went over LSU. All the injuries, all the stuff. LSU's got Mettenberger and Landry and Odell Beckham. They win the game. In a lot of ways, mentally, that set them up for 2014. Hey, you
It
can
did.
beat the LSU, the Alabama of the world.
did.
You can do this. You don't have to rely on, hey, just the bottom of the division that sucks. You can go win games. And I thought that was a big deal. And that's where Ole Miss is still sitting here. Yeah, they've won a couple games, and Arkansas is terrible, and they took care of Vanderbilt. But when's that next one? When's that first little step here? And these are the 2 weeks that give them that opportunity, because it was Missouri, who's good but not great.
Right.
A&M, good, fine, whatever.
I do think
Back at
Missouri's
home.
better than A&M. I think if Missouri,
A&M is a more winnable football game than Missouri.
I think winning at home against Texas A&M is far more likely from a computer standpoint, and I think the computers will bear that out than beating Missouri on the road. People are hung up on the Missouri-Wyoming game to the point that it is changing the way that they evaluate the current Missouri team.
We'll look at those computers. We'll look at some odds and more in a minute. First, tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the flow down option, and with rates as low as they've been in about 2 years. Good time to talk to Jason. 662-234-2704. JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Splinter Creek. It's a gated conservation community. It's located about 8 miles southwest of Oxford, 75 minutes from the Memphis airport. SplinterCreekMS.com is the website. The number is 601-898-2772. Call that number. You're going to get in touch with the Tom Smith Land and Home agent, and they're going to arrange a tour for you of Splinter Creek. And here's what you're going to see. It's absolutely gorgeous. You're going to see 34 lakefront lots, 2 to 25 acres, 650 acres of lakes, pine and hardwood forest, 6 miles of private roads. It's well-maintained for running, for cycling, for hiking. There's a preserve for turkey and deer, a flyway for birds. It's home to bald eagles. It's just a lot there. The lakes were built for swimming, quiet boating, fishing. The water is professionally managed monthly by American Sportfish. It's one of the largest producers of live freshwater fish for stocking in the southeast U.S. So again, if you're thinking about coming up to Oxford this weekend, you're thinking about retiring here, you're thinking about moving here, SplinterCreekMS.com, 601-898-2772. We are also brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. I'm pulling up their Twitter feed, Chase, because I think they're going to be almost everywhere in the whole world this week.
It was a lot of pins on that map. I saw that a little while ago.
There was a lot of places. I'm pulling them up. I know this is not great pod, but at this point, I'd rather be right. So this week, Blue Delta is going to be in Los Angeles, in Reno, Nevada. Is it Nevada or Nevada?
I say Nevada, but I don't know.
Okay. Dallas, Birmingham, Lexington, Kentucky, Tampa, Florida, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So if you live in or near any of those markets and you want to get yourself into a pair of Blue Delta jeans, all you got to do is slide into their DMs or send them an email, info@bluedeltajeans.com. You can book your appointment or your time for a private fitting. The Gino will be out soon. It's out in the open now. It's soft. It's comfortable. They've got a great group of colors. The soling will begin on Halloween, so don't miss this opportunity to reserve your spot in the first run of this great new fabric line from Blue Delta Jeans. Searching for a unique way to brand your company swag? Have a special event to memorialize? Dead Soxy has you covered with their custom sock program. Click on the custom socks link. They'll walk you through the entire process, from the complimentary digital mock-up before your order is placed to delivery logistics and even custom packaging. Dead Soxy is your place to create a gift they will use time and time again with all-inclusive pricing, no upcharges or fine print. The custom sock design process is as simple as it gets. Head over to deadsoxy.com. That's DEADSOXY.com/custom. Remember, you can still save 30% on general orders with the promo code Rebel Grove. Stay Soxy. And then finally, Chase, our picks will be up on Thursday. We all did pretty well this week. They're brought to you by Southern Craft Stove and Tap, located off Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue. Southern Craft Stove and Tap places an emphasis on food and atmosphere, mixing the quality of fine dining with the come-as-you-are environment. Featuring 30 craft beers and offering a high-quality selection of cuisine and libations, Southern Craft Stove and Tap has you covered for any occasion. Join them for lunch, dinner, Sunday brunch, or have your favorites catered out. Catering orders placed online currently receive $25 off any order totaling $100 or more, so avoid the chaos of parking on the square Head over and experience carefully crafted dishes with your favorite Southern ingredients. Southern Craft Stove and Tap, Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue in Oxford.
We'll follow that up with hopefully another good week with Neal's picks, which again you'll get on Thursday morning. Lines for the week. We'll look at those. I actually have not seen anything but the Ole Miss line. I saw the Alabama line too. Otherwise, have not seen them. We'll kick it off with Auburn and Arkansas. That's in Fayetteville on Saturday, the October 19th at 11 a.m. That was definitely destined for 11 a.m. This thing, pretty good line. Auburn on the road, an 18-point favorite over the Razorbacks.
Yeah, and interesting it's fall break up there because Campbell's coming home Friday after her classes.
So no crowd.
I would think all the kids will be gone except for the kids that live around there.
Because they're not staying for the football game.
No.
He's gone, right? What do you do here? Because it's an interesting thing with Arkansas. Because,
it's fascinating.
I mean, and frankly, Ole Miss needs Arkansas to stay in the tank. They reveled in that recruiting class. And it was good. For Arkansas standards, it was fine.
It was good.
It was ranked 23rd or 24th in the country. It was still dead last in the SEC West, I think.
Yeah.
Dead last. You're not making up any ground. You're still losing ground. He can't win games. I mean, the only feather in his cap right now is that he recruited most of the kids that Sonny Dykes is winning with at SMU. They've shown no progress. He can't decide on a quarterback. His quarterbacks are bad. He goes in and gets 2 transfers. They both suck, which frankly shows you how hard it is to get transfers that are good. And, I mean, it is, all jokes aside, I mean, divine intervention that Hugh Freeze hit it twice on the transfer or in the JUCO market with quarterbacks of Bo Wallace and Chad Kelly.
Absolutely.
That just doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
And it happens 2 years in a row or 2 times in a row. Arkansas is in a weird spot because they've put everything into this being this long-term process, but we know college football, we know the SEC, it ain't that long-term. It's pretty tight. You've got a window, but emotion, fan support, money, it's not as lengthy as you think it might be on that opening press conference, and he's just not getting better.
No, they're not. Well, I think they are actually getting a little better, but they can't win. And if you can't win at some point, people just lose patience. I don't know what their crowds are. This weekend probably is not going to be a good crowd for them with Auburn coming to town. It's a big game for Malzahn. Here's an interesting storyline. It's a podcast. We can float rumor. If Auburn goes 8-4, loses the games that we all think they're going to lose.
Okay.
Georgia, LSU, Alabama.
Sure.
Win the others, 8-4. Auburn's going to want to get rid of Gus Malzahn, but Auburn owes Gus Malzahn
25-ish.
Arkansas would love to hire Gus Malzahn.
They would.
Arkansas might not want to pay off. Just follow me here. This is like a deep underbelly rumor that I think might be more fantasy than it is rumor.
Sure.
Arkansas doesn't want to have to pay off the Morris contract.
Okay. Humbleson?
I kind of wonder if
I know where you're going, but
kind of wonder if a trade sort of gets worked out. Where they do a settlement with Malzahn, bring him down. He's from Arkansas. He's from Springdale. And Auburn, in effect, pays off the Morris contract to make the Malzahn contract just go away. And Gus takes the Arkansas job. And Auburn gets to hire whoever it is that Auburn wants to hire.
Which is who?
I don't know.
Or what?
I don't know.
I know that's not what you're asking. I'm just curious.
And that's part of the problem.
I mean, they got to have a dude, though.
You got to have a guy. If you're gonna fire Chad Morris right now, you got to know who you're getting. You can't afford to go, hey, let's fire Chad Morris, right? Because we're Arkansas. Let's fire him, and then this guy turns you down, and this guy uses your job for more money, and this guy uses your job for more money, and this guy decides that no, little Jimmy and little Jenny just can't leave State College U. And next thing you know, you're into the middle of December, your recruiting class has fallen apart, and what you've done with your program that just went 0-16 is you've made it worse. It's the whole, hey, fire Matt Luke thing. To hire whom?
It works out great for Arkansas it saves Auburn a ton of money. But Auburn is in this deal where they can't decide what direction they want to go in. They can't figure themselves out right now. It's the most discombobulated program that's a top 15 program possible. They're fine. They're winning. They're okay. There's no problems. They don't really know what they're doing. They kind of like Gus. They don't like Gus. Gus not sure if he wants to call plays, not call plays. They want to float some rumors about Bob Stoops. They want to pay him all this money.
Well, they do.
They kind of like Jimbo Fisher, but now he sucks at A&M. They just don't know. It's all over the place. It's like they're playing a game of NCAA football right now.
I covered them for 6 years. I know some of their boosters. They have a very inflated view of themselves. I mean this. I don't even mean this as an insult. It's going to come across as one. There's a lot of Texas A&M in Auburn. It's a cool campus. It's really pretty, and the people who go there love it. You won't meet many Auburn grads who graduate from Auburn and you say, how'd you like Auburn? No, it's okay. It's fine. You don't get that much. It's fun. The kids are really involved. They get great basketball crowds all the time, even when they're not very good. It's a different place, but that creates a inflated view of yourself. And they walk around telling each other how great they are. And, you know, when they say to each other, hey, do I look like I've gained a few? Oh, no, you look great. You look great. They believe it after a while. And then you look up and you've put 50 pounds on. You say, how'd that happen? It's kind of where Auburn is. They're solid. They're a top 15 to 20 program in the country by any measurable. The problem is that they're in the same division.
They're second in their state and third in the West.
Yeah. Yeah, third.
Frankly, closer to fourth and second at the moment.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, the top two teams in the country in the polls are in the SEC West. Auburn's got to go to LSU next weekend. Just a tough gig. Still got to play Georgia. Still have to play Alabama. Could look up at 8-4, and your 4 losses will be to.
You beat Oregon, have a freshman quarterback, did pretty good, lost 4 games to top 10 teams.
Yeah, well, top 10 teams, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And they want to fire you. They owe you $20-something million. Something tells me Auburn would be amenable to that deal, and I think Arkansas would too.
What's Gus do at Arkansas?
Better than Chad.
Well, okay. Wins an SEC game.
Middle of the pack.
He doesn't do Bobby Petrino. Doesn't pull that off.
No, I don't think he pulls that off, but he does have a lot of connections with high school coaches up there. I think he would excite people up there to a degree. He's a good coach. Malzahn's fine. He's a good coach. But if you're Auburn and you fire Malzahn, even if you work out a deal and you trade him basically to Arkansas, Arkansas doesn't send you a coach back. So you've got to then go figure out, okay, what coach do we go get? Because what that trade is, Gus Malzahn goes to Arkansas for cash considerations. Mm-hmm. If you were to put it in a baseball transaction.
Yeah. We're paying you for him.
That's cash considerations. We just lowered our buyout from $26 million to $14 million.
We're going to dump that big contract off.
Yeah. We're going to pay off your guy. Mm-hmm. Our guy's going to settle, and it's going to go away.
Right.
Okay, now what? Because Nick Saban's not acting like he's leaving anytime soon. There's no sense of a retirement tour. We love to make fun of Orgeron, but dude's figured it out. He's absolutely a perfect fit there. He's going nowhere as long as his heart's beating. And he's building a power. They could win the whole thing right now. In fact, if you put a gun to my head right now and says, football gods, come down here into the Clark Ford studios and say, pick a winner, we know the winner, get it right, or boom, boom. I'm going LSU.
I do give credit to the voters that actually switched them and didn't just go, well, Alabama until they lose. It's a new season. Pick the better team right now with the better win.
Yeah.
They have better wins.
I put LSU on top of my poll.
They have better wins. I don't know who I'll pick in that game when they play each other, but I know right now LSU has better wins.
I know who I'm picking.
You like LSU.
I love LSU.
They have a better offense.
They have a better team.
Bama's defense is very average.
LSU's defense is getting better.
Bama had some injuries early on. Dylan Moses, problems. It's leaky. I think Aaron Suttles called it leaky yesterday. It's a good word for it.
It's
not bad, but
no.
it's...
And LSU's is getting better. Slowly.
I'm not making a Louisiana connection. I'm just making connection to what I know. LSU right now kind of looks like that 09 Saints team. A lot of turnovers. Defense isn't great, but they get after the quarterback. They'll pick some balls off. They'll get some turnovers. You cause enough havoc and chaos that stuff just sort of works out. Then you're giving the ball back to your quarterback. I mean, Joe Burrow, and it's not like some system where they're just throwing a bunch of 3-yard passes. He has a 3 percentage point lead on the most accurate season in college football history from a quarterback completion percentage. He's completing 79% of his passes. The record's 76%.
Well, we had it on in here.
We did.
But we weren't really paying great attention to it because we were getting started with this and we were both
a little antsy.
Pretty dialed into what we were doing. That drive that he put together, 28-28, and then 35-28 to put the game away was impressive quarterback stuff. And give Orgeron credit. That game did exactly what we wanted to see it do. It got tight, stayed tight. Florida played really well. And Orgeron he rode with it, stayed with it, stayed out of it, kept his hands out of it. And they ran their offense, and by God, it worked. I've criticized him in the past because when he was here, from all accounts,
train wreck.
He tried to run every aspect of the program.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing that now. He's delegating, and he's leaving it alone. He's letting people play, and it shows.
And the more you do that, the easier it is. Early on, it's real uncomfortable. Pins in his chest probably, but then works out.
Well, it's working.
Hey, it's you.
And it helps when you have a quarterback who, if you voted for the Heisman today, here's what's on the line in that Alabama-LSU game. Number 1 in the country, a spot in the SEC championship game, potentially a spot in the playoff, and the Heisman Trophy.
Because you think right now, headed to New York, Burrow, Tua, Hurts.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. And somebody else.
Nick Saban's going to say, I managed this. He's going to sit in the back of that room in New York and go, I had both of these guys and managed it. You think anybody else is as good as me? No, I think it's those 3 guys, and then hell, I don't know.
Whatever. Who cares?
Might not be anybody else.
Yeah, who cares? Whomever. Oh, the Jonathan Taylor, Wisconsin running back.
Oh yeah. He deserves.
Yeah.
He deserves an invitation.
Yeah.
Gets some free dinners and stuff.
Wisconsin's given up 29 points all season, something like that.
They're good. They're legit.
Are we sleeping on them?
Maybe, but probably not. They probably can't score when it comes down to it. They can't score with the.
So they're the ones that's going to get in, then get hammered by somebody in the playoff.
Well, hey, listen, Clemson's probably still in this damn thing. As long as they stay undefeated, are they a top 4 team? No, but they're
in.
They're going to get in. So if Wisconsin runs the table, it's Wisconsin, Clemson. This is the deal. The winner of Alabama, LSU in all likelihood, and then probably another SEC team.
So it'd be the loser or Georgia if they ran it.
Yeah.
Florida's out now. Unless they beat Georgia and run the table. But they'd have to completely run the table.
Yeah, Florida would have to run the table and win the SEC championship game.
So no.
But Georgia could run the table the rest of the way.
Yeah, that didn't look.
And frankly, if you're Georgia right now, you want to beat Florida, Georgia would have to win the SEC title too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they can't have a second loss. Because that's what's happening here. As long as the loser of that game doesn't lose again, they'd have a really good shot with 1 loss. Well, we're forgetting Ohio State too.
Well, but they would already play Wisconsin.
You're just giving a Big Ten a spot.
I'm giving Wisconsin the win.
Okay, fair enough.
The Wisconsin-Ohio State winner gets in. Clemson gets in. The SEC winner gets in. And then I think the Alabama-LSU loser immediately becomes a fan of the team that just beat it.
Yeah. Run it.
Y'all go run it. We'll
run it.
We'll run it. We'll be the 4. You'll be the 1, and we'll play each other again.
And they probably won't do that to us, so we'll probably.
So they'll probably make us the 3.
Yeah.
Or you the 2.
Yeah. Whatever. Who cares?
And we'll see you again.
Yeah. We can't make the 3 and the 2, but yeah, one or the other. All right, Florida, South Carolina. There's no line on that game yet. However, I saw David Cloninger yesterday saying Helinski should play on Saturday. That looks like he's healthy enough to do that. It didn't look good on this Saturday. But
where's that game? Columbia?
The game is in Columbia.
Ooh.
Florida's going to win.
Yeah, it's got let down for both of them
11
written
a.m.
all over it.
11 a.m. on that one.
Florida put a lot into that LSU
I would have
game.
made that the 2:30 game.
Yeah,
I get Florida's coming off a loss. I would have made that the 2:30 game.
It's a much more interesting game than the game they've got at 2:30.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell are they thinking?
It's really weird to me. I don't know. It feels like there's more politics involved with it this year. They're trying to do a little more, few variations, move it around a little bit.
Just put the best game on TV.
And that's not what they're doing. That's too simple.
By the way, can we just touch on something real quick?
Sure, why not?
The Ole Miss game lasted 4 hours.
It did. We talked about that.
That was the ESPN2 game that goes 4 hours. How long the CBS game last? 6?
Well, it's typically that CBS game has been ending between 6 and 6:15. So it's been going 3.5 to 3:45.
I give them credit.
Wisconsin, speaking of, they're going to go beat the crap out of Illinois this weekend.
Yeah, Illinois is bad.
29 points. Hey, they scared Shea on Saturday for a little while.
Did they?
It was 28-0, and then it was 28-25 at one point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then Michigan scored a couple more times, put it away. But yeah.
I'd like to go to a game there.
In Champaign?
Yeah, I was at their stadium. It's kind of a cool stadium.
Who picks out Illinois as where they want to go to a game?
I just like those Big Ten places, man. Someone says Justin Fields. Yeah, I guess he could get invited.
Sure.
Somebody from the Big Ten will get invited.
Yeah. It's not going to be an all.
Isn't it funny that before the season we all thought Trevor Lawrence? I don't even think he'll get invited to New York.
Yeah, I would. Right now, I'm not tanking next year for Trevor. I'll figure it out.
No.
I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket.
Well, and the NFL guys aren't going to dig him because he's not all football all the time. He's not a football machine. There's a lot more going.
They'd like
him.
a robot.
Yeah.
Oklahoma still going to keep winning, 32-point favorites over West Virginia this weekend. All right, here's a good game, actually. In Lubbock, Iowa State, Texas Tech. That's got a chance to be a decent game this weekend.
Yeah, it's got a chance to be good.
If you just want to keep something on TV, watch something. Georgia Tech and Miami, who cares? Your Iowa Hawkeyes are playing the Purdue Boilermakers at home this weekend. They're 17-point favorites.
Yep. We gave it a run.
Gave it a shot. You picked them to cover, didn't you?
I did.
They did not.
No, they didn't. I went 6-3 against the spread.
Did you?
You went 7-2.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good. I lost one of those other games that you put in there, so I'd have been even better had you just stuck to our plan.
You lost.
I lost Texas, Oklahoma.
You lost
I had
Texas,
Oklahoma covering.
And I got it right.
You picked Texas to cover.
Mm-hmm. I did. I picked an 8-point game.
What was it?
Like a 8-point game.
No. What was the line?
10.
The game that they picked for 2:30, and this is because they love them some road team here. LSU at Mississippi State. That is your CBS game of the week, and it is where Joe Burrow is going to go crazy against that Bulldog secondary because they suck.
Let me guess the line. I'm going to guess the line's 20 points.
It's a very good guess, Mr. McCready. You need to back off that 1 point. It is 19 on the road in Starkville.
I love LSU against that State defense.
State won't play any of the suspended players this week because it's not a winnable game.
Right. They'll hand this
It
one
is
off.
funny what kind of message, if you're Moorhead, seriously, I mean, forget what everything else going on.
Yeah.
But the message you've got to choose to send on when you play those guys and when you don't, because that's a very clear message to your team when you decide to play them.
You're telling your team whether you think you can win or not.
He's going to play them against Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Tennessee.
And at this point,
that's the three you're playing them.
Their path to 6 wins is not crispy clear.
It goes through Starkville against Ole Miss that night.
God, that's going to be a weird game.
I need Ole Miss to beat A&M to set up 5-6 that night. It'd be so fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Let's just do it. It'll be fun.
That would be so much fun because every person in that stadium would be so tight.
I mean, I'm pulling it up. I'm pretty sure here. I don't know if the typing's showing up now. Our soundboard's better, so the typing may not be coming through our ears this time.
What are you looking for?
State schedule. I got it up.
I've got it right here.
I got it right here.
Okay.
It's all good. All right. State plays A&M next week in College Station.
Loss.
That's a loss too, right?
Yep.
Okay. So how many losses they got right now? Hold on a second.
They're 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. So
they're 3-3.
They'll be 3-4 Saturday
and 3-5.
3-5 after College Station.
Okay. They're gonna be 4-5 if they go to Fayetteville and win.
So
that's an iffy game, but for the sake of this, I'm
going to play along and give it to you.
All right, 5-5
because they beat Abilene Christian. Yeah, they're 4-5. They lose to Alabama 4-6. They beat Abilene Christian. That's 5-6.
That sets it up. Which that's expected. There's nothing there that surprises me except for maybe if they're already not bowl eligible by that point, because they're not beating LSU and they're not beating Alabama and they have a greater chance of losing the Arkansas game than they do winning the A&M game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. See, here's the thing. If you're playing Arkansas right now, you have to look at them and go, they're getting closer. They're getting closer. They're playing better. I watched some of their game against Kentucky. I would flip during the commercial breaks. They're playing better. I watched a lot of their game against A&M just because Campbell was there and I was hoping to see her, which I know was fantasy, but they're better than they were early in the year. They're just not getting the results. But you have to kind of feel like if and it's what Morris is telling his kids. If you just follow the process, if you just stick with it, keep working, it's going to come. It could come that day. It could come that day.
And he needs any shot in the arm. It doesn't matter who he beats. He needs to beat somebody that also has the SEC logo on their chest.
All right, question since we're firing coaches today.
Sure.
Let's do it the other way.
Yeah.
LSU beats them. A&M beats them. They go to Fayetteville and lose.
I think he's fired at the end of the year if he loses to Ole Miss, too.
That's where I was going.
If he loses to Ole Miss, too, I think they fire him.
Trying to be careful here. Because if I'm Ole Miss, I'm a little worried about State firing Joe Moorhead because I think there's an easy person that State could go hire who I think might actually work there.
Who?
Willie Fritz.
Oh. I was hoping for fun. You're going to say Will Hall.
I think Will Hall would then be in line to get the Tulane job.
Right, he would.
Easily.
He would.
No, I don't think State would go hire Will Hall.
I was kidding.
That would be a jump.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. If I'm an Ole Miss fan,
A little careful that day.
I don't want them firing Moorhead right now. Let that guy stay there another year because I don't think he fits.
I mean, I'm not going to throw the game to get it happen. But
no,
yeah,
you're not throwing that game, but you'd like for them to beat Arkansas so that that's not on the table.
Yeah, I get it.
You don't think they're firing him at 5-7?
No. I think it takes the nuclear season to have that happen. We'll continue lines in 1 second. First, about visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. Go to the events page. See everything going on in town this week. It's a home football weekend again, so you get the public double-decker bus tour on Friday at 3 and 4 o'clock. You got a literary bit of Faulkner, October 10th through 14th. So the last day of that today. You've got more, including Thacker Mountain Radio Hour, 6 to 7:30 on the 17th. So go to the events page, bookmark it, see everything going on in Oxford, including where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and see. Again, that's visit oxfordms.com/events.
We'll be taping a Mind on My Money podcast. It is brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. We'll tape it on Tuesday. We'll deliver it to you guys on Wednesday. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi. They represent clients in 24 states. They have advisors in more than 3 states. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan that is built just for you. To learn more about Pinnacle Trust, go to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. We'll be putting up a mailbag on Wednesday as well. I'll start asking for questions a little later this morning on rebelgrove.com. Also on Twitter. The mailbag is brought to you by the Westin Jackson. It is home to Soul Spa. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. You can indulge in personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and much more. And then you can head over to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, enjoy a creative craft cocktail or their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships. So gather at Estelle inside the Westin Jackson tonight. We're also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the fellows that you've always kind of wanted to do, maybe it's an anniversary trip, it's a honeymoon, I don't know, celebrate your retirement trip, whatever the case may be. You want to go to Paris, you want to go to Italy, you want to go to the Caribbean, to Florida, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. He knows the extra attention that's needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. All you have to do is you give him some parameters, you give him a budget, he'll give you options that you won't come up with on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. Call John, 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. And it's a podcast that's brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. So get in touch with Gene and Sandy. Tell them that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast or at rebelgrove.com. You'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Mastercuts Lawn and Landscape, Premium Lawn Care. They're out in northern Mississippi, and a lot more as well. They build custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces with paper patios, forestry mulching, and much more. Patch your dream backyard easier than you think. Find them online at gomastercuts.com for a free quote, or that same free quote, 662-607-7773. Again, that is gomastercuts.com. Seeing on our message board that Boyce was on the Paul Gallo show this morning, and he couldn't remember Keith Carter's name. I don't know what that means, but apparently that's said that there was a little bit of a pause and ended up just saying interim athletic director.
And he had lunch with him last week.
Yeah. Wednesday or Thursday, I think, something like that.
Well, I just think it's important that you get somebody with the great people skills that he very clearly has.
Yeah, differing opinions on how the interview went, but that is what I'm seeing. Just, again, if not true, blame the message board. I'm reading from the board this morning.
Well, they're never wrong. It's kind of like Twitter. Never wrong. If it's on Twitter, it's true.
Yeah, says he couldn't remember Keith Carter's name. After pausing to think on it, just decided to call him, quote, our interim athletic director that's been here a long time. What?
That's terrible.
You know, that guy. I don't know.
You know, the tall guy with the dark hair. We had
I
lunch,
think he played football or something.
We had lunch. Yeah, he played baseball maybe or something. Nice guy. Been here a long time. He's our interim athletic director. Good guy. Like him a lot.
Why could we not have had this live video thing the night of Freeze?
Oh, no.
We would have had to figure out the Skype thing.
Yeah, and we would have had to shut down the comment section. We just because no
comments that night.
No,
we would have been demonetized that night, I think, for vulgarity or something. We would have. YouTube would have had a problem.
Just had to let it go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would have been the case. Big game this weekend at Gerald Ford Stadium. Not that Gerald Ford, the other one. SMU, a 6-point favorite over Temple this weekend.
Oh, that is
Dallas.
A good game.
It's a good game in Dallas.
Yeah.
In Highland Park this weekend. Just kind of looking at it here.
Kind of like Temple.
Do you?
Yeah, they're good.
That's away from that big stadium.
That's
It's
true.
on the road.
Isn't that funny? They play all their games at the Eagle Stadium, I guess Lincoln Financial or whatever, and
they're tough.
And no one's there. It's empty.
Yeah, that's why it's tough.
And players walk in, and it's just kind of flat.
Yeah. Missouri at Vanderbilt this weekend. The Tigers and the Commodores. 21.5 is your line on this one.
Just give me. I'll take Missouri.
I can't take Vanderbilt right now.
No, I'm done. I'll lay whatever.
We watched UNLV just run through them.
Yeah, every time we turned over, it was like a highlight.
They just kept scoring.
Another score.
Kept scoring. Baylor still unbeaten.
By the way, I got a text or two from people in Nashville, and the Mike McIntyre stuff's going to start popping there. Whether it's real or not, I don't know, but his name is going to come up.
Really?
A lot with Vanderbilt.
Okay. Baylor's still undefeated. They go to Stillwater this weekend, and they are 4-point underdogs to the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Oh, that'll be a good game.
It's a good game. Yeah, it's fine. Kentucky is at Georgia. That is a 5 p.m. ESPN start this weekend. Georgia is a 24.5-point favorite over the Wildcats.
Where's that game?
It is in Athens, Georgia.
Got to think Georgia's going to play a pissed-off game Saturday, right?
Yeah, but it's also the game you kind of sleepwalk through because you can't lose it. Can't lose Kentucky. They'll win.
Yeah, I don't...
I mean, teams have had really weird games before, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Oh, speaking of, we're staying with the American Conference, but we talk about Willie Fritz all the time. Big game at the Liberty Bowl, Tulane, Memphis this weekend.
Ooh, that is a big game. I'm going to guess Memphis is about a 4.5-point favorite.
That is exactly right.
Really?
4.5-point favorite.
I missed my calling.
If we were doing the Bill Simmons thing, you'd be rolling right now where they guess the lines. He and Sal for the NFL on Mondays.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I have lots of completely useless talents, and that's one.
Texas A&M and Ole Miss. A lot of books do not have this on the board at all, but a couple do, so we'll take advantage of those. It opened at 5. It is now at 5.5. Ole Miss and Texas A&M. A&M favorite.
Yeah, obviously. It's an eminently winnable football game, but Ole Miss has to play in one of these games, and they're going to get the environment they want. I think there will be a good crowd. It's going to be at night. The weather's going to be okay. It's going to be in the 60s. It's not going to be too cold. It's not going to be hot. Everybody gets a chance to get themselves imbibed in the Grove all day. It's working. We're rolling right along. Everything's good. Got to play well. Have to play a clean football game. Have to play a disciplined football game. And if they do, I think they win. But Ole Miss, and I wrote this Saturday night, they cannot beat themselves in these games. You know, they played pretty clean against Arkansas. It's the reason they won the game. They're better than Arkansas, don't get me wrong, but you got to play clean.
Computers still not in love with Ole Miss. OddsSharks Analytics calling for a 36-25 A&M win on Saturday. If you'd like to bet some money lines, you got to put 220 on A&M to win 100. If you'd like to bet on Ole Miss, 100 wins you 180. So that is your money line.
Okay, we did this with State. Not even about fairness. It's more about me being curious. Let's say Ole Miss loses. Okay. So, got the Ole Miss schedule right here. Ole Miss loses to A&M to get an open date for people to be salty. Go to Auburn. It's probably a loss. Fair?
Sure. Yeah, whatever.
New Mexico State's a win, but we're back to that crowd watching for that game.
Yeah, it's not as big of a deal as it was, but sure. Yeah, that's fair.
And then LSU here, it's a loss. Burrow could throw for 400 yards.
That's a scary
it's
situation.
It's a bad matchup. Then there's an open date where the focus is going to be on Ole Miss Memphis basketball. And then they go to Mississippi State on Thanksgiving night. Let's play it out.
Sure.
Ole Miss goes 4-8. Does anything happen?
Matt Luke is owed right now somewhere. If he fired up at the end of the season, he's owed somewhere around $6 million.
Yeah, I've heard closer to 7, but whatever.
Yeah, it's give or take 60% of the remaining whatever. I've got the exact number somewhere.
I wish somebody would just throw me $1 million and go, here, whatever. Wouldn't that be awesome? If you got $1 million, whatever dollars.
You would clean your office happily and skip out.
Yeah. I'd say good luck with the podcast, Chase.
Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, hey, we don't think we want you to work next year. We're going to pay you $6.5 million to do it. You good?
Tears of pure joy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I love you so much.
Sir athletic director?
Yeah.
Sir athletic director?
Yeah. Chancellor, I don't even know your name, but I love you very much. Yeah.
My guess is no, money-wise.
It's my guess.
I could go either way. My guess is no.
My guess is no, but boy, we were talking about Baylor a minute ago.
Mm-hmm. It just sets up that terrible start next year. That's the thing. I mean, if you lose to Baylor and you don't pull an upset, you're starting 1-4.
Yeah.
Now, there's winnable games later. You can fix it.
But boy.
Because it would set up the storyline going into next year of, hey, you've got to do kind of one of those 08 kind of things where you run that thing after that. You have to run it.
Well, at some point,
you got to win football games.
Yeah.
I mean,
at some point, you have to beat the good teams in the league.
Yeah. You're in the SEC West. You have to play SEC West teams and win. Michigan, Penn State this weekend.
Ooh.
This line has moved 11 points.
Towards Penn State. Because their defense is really good.
Michigan -4.5 is how it opened. It's now Penn State -7.5.
Where's the game?
Happy Valley.
Michigan opened as a favorite?
That is correct.
On the road at Penn State? Why did you not call me Sunday?
Put some mortgage on this thing?
Damn. Paid off all our little expenses.
Yeah.
I love Penn State in that game.
Yeah.
I think they embarrassed Michigan Saturday night.
Ben Craddock tells me my hat's not on straight. I think it is on straight. It's just the way the camera angle is.
Yeah, it's on straight.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your TPC Louisiana hat.
I think I'm looking at you, and it's kind of a weird angle. It's coming in sideways. I'm not like straight up on the camera. It's fine. All right. Tennessee at Alabama. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing here, to be honest. I think I'm taking Tennessee. It's in Tuscaloosa.
How many points?
36.
36. Oh, God. No, that's too many points.
That's too many.
Too many points. Tennessee, let's give some credit here. Because we made fun of him a lot. Jeremy Pruitt got that team to not quit.
He did.
It was a big win for them.
I think I'm taking Tennessee.
Yeah, it's too many points.
Alabama's good, but they're not great. This isn't one of the better Alabama teams.
Alabama's great on one side of the ball.
Yeah, they're great on offense. Which makes this fun because LSU Alabama is going to be a
track meet.
Just throw that thing. Because Florida was able to track meet with LSU.
Yeah, for a long time.
And Florida's fine, but that's not an elite offense.
Well, Mullen called a really good game.
He did. Is that really it? It's all the SEC games we have.
That's it, man.
Light schedule.
Yeah. Next week's even lighter.
Is it? Your night games, if we're doing some shows late, here's what we'll have here for our options.
Okay.
We'll have Arizona at USC.
Okay.
Boise State at BYU.
Ugh.
Nevada at Utah State if we'd like to see John Hartwell's club. And then we will have Air Force at Hawaii to close the night.
So we'll have some football on the TV.
There'll be some football on the TV if we decide to do a show Saturday night.
Does the World Series start this weekend?
Well, we're not.
Let's see, game 3 and 4, 3, 4, and 5 in Washington Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So no.
Like Monday.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, Monday. Nats up 2-0.
Yeah.
Lifelong Nationals fan over here.
I've been a Nationals fan since Thursday, and so far it's really worked out well.
They win a lot.
They don't lose. They pitch so well. It's been fun cheering for the Nationals all my life.
I've inherited them because of no reason other than Aaron Barrett at this point. That's it. I have no rooting interest anywhere, so for sure.
Yeah, you'd love to see him.
I said I kind of follow the Astros for some reason. I don't know why. They're just kind of fun.
Astros-Yankees had a great game last night.
Who won?
Correa hit a walk-off home run in the 11th to tie the series 1-1.
Okay.
So they go back to the Bronx for games 3, 4,
Yeah,
and 5.
because New York hammered them in game 1.
Yeah. Gleyber Torres, and then it gets all these hot takes.
You're really getting annoyed by this take.
Well, it's a stupid take. The Cubs traded Gleyber Torres knowing what they were trading to get one of the game's most elite closers to patch up the one spot on that 2016 team that was weak, and it worked. They won the World Series. It was worth it.
We've talked about this.
I
If
know.
you win a ring, nothing else matters.
If you win the ring, it doesn't matter what price you paid to win the ring. You got the ring. They fly the banner forever. It doesn't have an asterisk on it. I mean, it kind of does, or Aroldis Chapman beat the hell out of his girlfriend or whatever, but it doesn't have the, but you traded Gleyber Torres for it banner. No, you won the championship.
So, Saints won 13-6 yesterday. 4-0 with Teddy.
Yeah.
He was decent, not good.
I didn't see it.
Minshew had a pretty rough day.
I had a bad NFL day yesterday because I don't have the package.
Yeah.
And so I got Chiefs-Texans, which didn't do much for me. And then
game.
It ended up being a good game, but I was working in here, and I got on the Office marathon, and I just never.
You stayed with it?
I stayed with it. And then I ended
So what do you do? Do you just watch season 1 and go? Or
No, it was whatever was on the TV.
Oh, it was on television.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I did a Peloton ride with Dodgeball, the movie, on in the background. And so I just had a silly, stupid, but it was a much happier day than watching a lot of football.
So Minshew doesn't push the ball down the field very well, so it was what it was.
By the way, Avery makes a great point.
Yeah.
You knew in the morning you were winning the game.
When the Pope backs you, you're in good shape for the day.
When the Pope tells you that the Saints are blessed, come on, you're winning.
So you think he fired his PR guy yesterday? The Pope fired the social media director.
So that tells you the Pope didn't spend much time following up.
I mean, who needed to hashtag that one word in it of all things?
So when the Pope says you're going to win,
You're going to win.
You're going to win.
You think Vegas saw an uptick of those 3 hours? Said, hey, whoa, the Pope.
The Pope hashtag the Saints.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Going to Jacksonville, pulling this thing off.
Yeah, I mean, Gardner Minshew has magic, but he's not that much magic.
I'm trying to stay even keel. I'm trying to not get carried away on this team. If Breeze comes back real, this thing's real.
I know, I've told you that.
Best team in the league, kind of real. In
And
the NFC, at least. The Patriots are very good.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not bringing him back for that Falcons game.
You're not?
No, I'm taking my time.
Because you got room now.
Because they suck.
Well, that too.
And Teddy can win that game. And you've got room.
They go to Chicago Sunday.
It's probably a win.
Because the other team doesn't have a starter either. Chase Daniel. It's Teddy
Right.
against Chase. Then they got Arizona and then the bye. Chicago, Arizona, bye. Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I bring him back for Atlanta if he's just chomping at the bit and I know it's completely healthy. But it has to be 100%. Otherwise, I'm saying, Drew, we're waiting till it's 100% because we can.
I might eat these words. The Panthers are only 1 game back, but they don't scare me. They're 4-2. Saints at 5-1. 49ers won again yesterday. Is it
Well,
real?
yeah, they've done a good job.
The Rams look weird right now.
I never finished this thought the other week because I think we interrupted each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot. If you talk to people around the NFL, they'll tell you that they believe that even though the Rams went on and went to the Super Bowl, remember that game in Chicago last year when the Bears just demolished the Rams?
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you that they think that what got put on film that night broke the Rams.
And they haven't been able to fix it.
Haven't been able to be the same offensive team, and people have a wrinkle now that they can throw at them.
They also lost a game when Todd Gurley didn't play yesterday.
Yeah.
There is an oversimplification to it as well.
Like if you talk to NFL people, they'll tell you that the Patriots studied that Bears film, added a couple of wrinkles to it, but that it all goes back to that Bears game a year ago.
Finish a couple of these thoughts in a second. First, tell you about G&M Pharmacy there on South Lamar in Oxford. Tyson Drugs on the Square in Holly Springs. And with flu season here, Tyson Drugs and G&M have flu vaccines available with $0 copay on most insurance plans. Know when it's time to wait in line for the overworked pharmacist at the chain drugstores, stop by one of the locally owned pharmacies and let them take care of you today as quickly and painlessly as possible. 662-236-2222.
The podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is a big part of Savannah Square. It's a new 9-acre development, 0.7 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square, conveniently located just east of North Lamar, a short stroll from the Midtown Shopping Center. Savannah Square will initially consist of 32 standalone homes ranging in size from about 1,100 square feet to about 2,400 square feet. You can check out the model home this weekend if you're coming up for the game. It's 215 Williams Street. There are multiple homes in different stages of development that you can look at as well. So get in touch with Harry Alexander. He's part of Remax Legacy Realty. You can check out the website, savannahsquareoxford.com, or you can give him a call or text at 662-801-5621. The podcast is also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all of the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with a personal touch. And when you call OUB, you speak directly with a live person. There's no 10 buttons to push. There's no 5-minute wait. What you get is Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. With Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. They also offer online bill pay and mobile check deposit using the online app. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. Join the Ole Miss football team back at the Vaught this Saturday as the Rebels take on the Texas A&M Aggies. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit OleMissTix.com. The 2019-2020 Ole Miss hoops season is just around the corner. Don't miss any of the action of Coach Yo's women's basketball team, Coach Kermit Davis's men's team this season in the Pavilion. For tickets, visit OleMissTix.com. Join the Ole Miss men's and women's hoops teams on Friday for Square Jam presented by Oxford Orthopedics on the Oxford Square. Bring the family out to this free event featuring skills contest, player autographs, and a dunk contest to cap off the night. For more information, visit OleMissSports.com. Join the Ole Miss soccer team on Thursday, October the 17th. They host Alabama, 6 p.m. in an SEC showdown. Admission is free, so bring the family out and enjoy some Rebel soccer. And the red-hot Ole Miss volleyball team, they keep winning. It's amazing.
5-0 in the league, I believe.
Yeah. They look to remain unbeaten in SEC play. They're back at the Gillum Center on Friday as they take on the Arkansas Razorbacks at 8 p.m. Admission is free. For more information, go to OleMissSports.com.
I took Carly Ann to a birthday party where the Shark was in attendance yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of kids really, really like the Shark. Carly Ann, not a fan at all. Said, hey, you want to go get a picture with the Shark? Never, and kept calling him Bad Shark. Kept getting like 10 feet from him and not being very cuddly with said shark.
Well, if it were me, I would take my daughter someplace and get her checked out because that wasn't a shark. She said to you, bad lizard, bad lizard. Well, then you'd say,
I wasn't gonna do it, obviously, but like I was kind of making that joke. I'm like, should I tell her it's something else? Should I? No, we'll go with it. It's fine. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Saints 5-1, Panthers 4-2, Bucks 2-4, Falcons 1-5. The Packers winning the NFC North right now, 4-1 over the Vikings at 4-2. Lions 2-1-1, Bears 3-2. Technically at the bottom of the division right now. 49ers at 5-0. Only allowed 64 points in 5 games.
They're good. They're heading to the playoffs.
That's what worries me about the Saints a little bit. I'm looking at some point differentials. Scored 128, giving up 122, but they're 5-1.
Yeah, but
Breeze is out.
Yeah,
so
you're doing the Teddy game.
Yeah, so just
the Saints asked Teddy, "Don't lose games."
He's not losing games.
Yeah.
Now their defense has played really well.
Well, that's okay. It's part of the package.
Here's a question. Kamara had a little bum situation going into yesterday. Tweaked his knee a little yesterday. You sitting him for a week or two?
Probably. Get him well. It's a long game. You're playing the long game. So what? Maybe you go to Chicago and lose. Who cares?
Yeah.
The point is to be healthy in the playoffs.
And you're in great position to get in.
It's not even about home field and all that crap. It's about be healthy going to the playoffs.
NFC East is a big train wreck all the way around. 3-3 Cowboys, 3-3 Eagles, 2-4 Giants, 1-5 Redskins. Washington beating Miami, where both teams desperately trying to tank yesterday. Did you see the 2-point conversion play at the end of the game?
Well, I heard about it. I didn't see it.
A play call that was never going to work, and a player that just dropped the football. Said, we are not scoring 2 points here, guys. Like, no. They were in this little shift-over screen thing that had no chance. I mean, there was no way that guy was going to score, and the guy just goes, like, no. Good. Ball down. Loss. The Bengals might screw this up because they can't win either, but
there's a lot of teams tanking for Tua, and the backup plan might not be bad. God, Burrow looks like an NFL quarterback.
He probably would have left anyway, so this is a moot point. So I'm saying this while saying this makes no sense because he left where he was. What if Nebraska had offered Burrow and Frost had him? What would that team look like differently right now?
They'd be a lot better than they are.
Yeah.
How about, by the way, Minnesota unbeaten?
Are they?
Yeah. PJ Fleck.
Rowing some boats. Isn't that his? Isn't that row the boat?
Yeah.
It's not hold the rope, it's row the boat.
No, because last week they were trying to do a thing where they were, I guess, on the river or whatever, and they were trying to row the boat, and the bat with the gopher mascot was trying to stand up and wave the flag in a boat, and it wasn't working.
Almost kind of like the George Washington photo, like the flag up,
well,
or crossing the Potomac a little bit.
It was very similar.
Okay.
Yeah, and it
couldn't pull it off.
Didn't work.
Okay. Patriots 6-0, Bills 4-1, as we talked about. Jets 1-4, Dolphins 0-5, and whatever. Chiefs 4-2, Raiders 3-2, Broncos 2-4, Chargers dead last in the division at 2-4 after a pretty good season last year. Ravens 4-2, Browns 2-4, Steelers 2-4, Bengals 0-6, and the Houston Texans 4-2, Colts 3-2, Jags and Titans 2-4. So there's your deal. So Saints still have the Titans left on the schedule, the Colts still left on the schedule, Panthers twice, Falcons twice. Play the 49ers in New Orleans later this season.
Yeah.
That might be for home field.
Could be.
In theory.
Could be.
Depending on how this thing goes on.
Well, as a lifelong Bears fan, I'm just kind of locked into the Bears season.
Are you?
Yeah.
Because they're sort of mediocre at the moment, is it making you not even follow them as much? Do they have to be really good for you to follow them right now in this infancy of your fandom?
No, because, I'm such a diehard that yeah, pretty much.
Come on.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. I'll wear my Trubisky jersey on the show Friday morning.
Just get Garrett fired finally in Dallas?
Yeah.
If this thing doesn't go well?
I think so.
Finally?
Gets him fired, and it gets the Cowboys probably thinking quarterback.
Definitely not going to pay the dude whatever he wants.
No.
He's wanting that Russell Wilson money.
No, no. So do I.
Good for him. Ask for it. If they're dumb enough to give it to you, then great.
Yeah, no, he and Cam Newton both losing money.
Cam.
Losing money. And now this talk about his foot injury that he didn't tell the Panthers about.
Sounds like a little bit of a ploy to...
They're starting to change his image just a little bit so they can run him out.
Yeah, that's what that feels like, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's because that's what it is.
Kyle Allen's done a decent job.
He's done fine.
He's better than Teddy.
Look, here's the thing. It's not in a vacuum. It's all right, how much are you paying him? If you're paying somebody on rookie scale and they're doing fine, cool. But if you have to give them franchise money, now you're a little antsy. By the way, speaking of quarterbacks, did you read the big Eli Manning story?
I have not read it, no.
It's a really good read. I read it, and I'm not sure that he walks away at the end of this year.
Meaning what?
Did he goes and play somewhere else?
Where do you think he's going?
I don't know.
Well, look, somebody will hire him if he wants to play.
Think he's being a good teammate, being a good guy. But people around him say the fire still burns.
Chicago, New Orleans, by the way, is your 3:25 national game next
Yes,
week.
sir.
Bears open at 3. It's now at 4. Early line.
Yeah, I'm already looking forward to Sunday afternoon. Campbell will be here.
They've got Trubisky technically questionable on the Vegas sheet. It says Breeze out, Trubisky questionable.
Yeah, they've been saying he's going to come back sooner rather than later. It was his non-throwing shoulder.
A must-win game for the Rams in Atlanta on Sunday. 4-point favorites. Just kind of looking at the slate a little bit. Buffalo's going to move to 5-1 because they play the Dolphins on Sunday.
Yeah, I saw Dawson Knox at the gym.
He told me.
He said it was fun. He said it's been fun playing up there. I said, did you get a little starstruck playing the Patriots? He said at first.
It has the
first few snaps, you think about, hey, God, these are the guys, man. I've watched these guys win all these Super Bowls and stuff. And then you just play football after that. He said after a little while, it's just you're playing the game you've always played.
Remind me to tell you something. I just got on a message. I can't repeat it on the show.
Okay.
We're going to run into that a little bit now, too. That's the only. That's one of the deals with this video thing is people hearing what we're talking about and then sending things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, can't. No, not at the moment.
It's got a chance to be an interesting 6 weeks.
You think so?
Yeah. Sure. Absolutely. I'm not going to run from it.
I feel even better. And nothing changed. We had this question on Saturday night. But as I have a little clearer head, I'm not as tired. I do feel even better that Joe Moorhead will be out of the SEC before Matt Luke. We got that question. Remember the other night?
So you think Moorhead leaves this year no matter what?
It just doesn't work. It doesn't feel right.
Well,
they don't like him. He wasn't a good fit. And again,
I think he can have the Rutgers job if he wants it.
Go get the right guy. Don't get me wrong. But the right guy does also mean fit, and it means fit at some places more than others.
Sure.
State's one of those places. It's kind of got to fit.
Oh, it's why if I'm Ole Miss.
Because Mullen adapted into it. Early on, he didn't fit, but then he kind of figured it out. Hey, this is what I do. This is how I do it. It's a pretty good gig. I can win enough. It's all good.
I know it's not popular to say this to Ole Miss people, and I get why they feel the way they feel about Dan Mullen. I get it. He's also an elite coach. There aren't 20 Dan Mullins running around. Not saying he's a wonderful human being. I'm just saying he's a really good coach. And he is. And I know people get pissed off at that, and I understand.
Well, he's a better human than James Franklin.
Well, yeah, but yeah. I mean, that's like, well, he's not Hitler.
It doesn't fit.
No, he doesn't fit. He can have the Rutgers job if he wants it. I think no matter what.
It's a career death knell if you do that.
Yeah, you take that job because you want to get more money, knowing that 3-4 years from now you're somebody's offensive coordinator. That's why you do that job.
It's like Penn State basketball. You're going to suck.
Yeah.
So do you want some money for a couple of years?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. So for some people, hey, I'll get the money, and then I'll go be a coordinator or whatever, and it's fine.
I don't think he coaches at State in 2020.
Who do you think does?
I don't know. The star's falling off a couple of the guys that I would have thought at this point, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me today, hey, Neal, put together a hot board.
Because you know how this works. When one thing doesn't work, you go completely the opposite with the next thing. It's just a situation you always talk about. You good?
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Okay. Don't look at the recorder like that. It make me nervous.
Sorry.
So if Morstead, sorry, we're talking about saying
Morstead's
punting
up on the
here.
thing.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So if Moorhead, if it doesn't work, I feel like they're going to go to somebody they know, Southern, get back into a little more culturally something that fits, frankly.
Yeah.
I think that's the direction they go. So, yeah, I think you're talking SEC assistant, smaller head coach at a program down here, something along those lines. Well, Willie,
Yeah.
He's been at Georgia Southern, been at Tulane.
If I'm Ole Miss, I don't want that to happen. I don't. I'm just being honest. I don't want State to go hire him.
Give Sonny Dykes one last role.
Well, someone like that would make some sense. I just don't know. I don't know the answer to my own question about what happens here at 4-8. I don't know I'm not convinced. I'm waffly on that. I mean, I am. I still know. I think he'd get the next year. But I have other questions. What's this chancellor? Is this chancellor desperate to get more popular? Because right now his approval rating is somewhere around a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Is he desperate to get up closer to 50?
Got to get an AD first. But
who's he hire as his AD?
then what's their opinion?
And then what do they think?
And what exactly is the money situation? How much you got? It's not monopoly.
And if you can't fill up your stadium next year, how much money are you losing?
Yeah,
There's a lot there.
It's a net loss, not a gross loss. It's hey, if you keep him, this is what it looks like. If you don't keep, and again, we're
frankly, it's the type of decision that you, in an ideal world, you have 10, 11 months to put together.
Right. Not
10 or 11 days.
Yeah. We'll keep talking about it all week here on the show, probably, and weeks ahead until Ole Miss wins a game. Frankly, that's not New Mexico State. It will at least stay as a storyline. But again, Matt Luke, Mike McIntyre, Rich Rodriguez. Today from the Manning Center, we'll have coverage at rebelgrove.com. We'll keep talking to you here on the show. Hope you enjoyed the video. For those guys that hung out with us, numbers have been pretty steady most of the show. Been on for about an hour 20 or so here. So we will talk to you tomorrow at rebelgrove.com, and we'll see you then.